Welcome back, everyone, to watch more football. As always, you're watching us in the Genreverse Sports YouTube channel. Give it a check out. Our back catalogue is on there. We're part of the main Genreverse YouTube channel, so check that out as well. Lots of really good content on there. And if you like what you see on there, you'll find similar content to that written format on lrmonline.com. But we're here to talk about football, specifically this latest weekend of fixtures in the Premier League in England. As always, I'm Cam Clark. I'm here with Ryan, Mick, and Dave to explore what's been happening in the football world this weekend. So, guys, it's been a bit of a shock weekend in terms of results again, shall we say. Certainly a few things that we were not expecting to happen, but we'll get into all that. As always, though, we'll start off with our predictions from last week. If you play along with us or watch, we basically have got a league of predictions going at the moment. We predict with the results each game, and we have a table for our points. So, Ryan, give us a little update on how we're doing this week.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I can do it if you want. I'm quite happy.
No. Yeah, go on, Cam. Take over.
Fine. Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
So it's very tight at the top because Cam, Dave, and Mick are copying each other's homework. So Cam and Dave scored 6. Mick changed one digit somewhere and got 7 instead. So they're staying as they are in the top 3.
Ryan's just grumpy because he decided to go different from us.
Yeah,
various different points, but the rest of them he went the same as everybody else, and those are the points that he actually got this week.
I got 2, and Kyle is doing his best Harry Styles impression. He got 1D.
You got two points. Is that what you got this week?
I got 2 points.
Yeah,
Kyle
Ryan
got 1
points.
Yeah.
I get it. One D. For a second there, I was like, I know who he is, but I don't know what you're at. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was atrocious. Way to go, Kyle. You suck.
Yeah. So I am.
As much as Ryan.
One Direction.
I am creeping up on Kyle. I'm creeping up on Kyle like the immortal snail that tracks you down for the rest of your life if you get $1 million. So yeah. At some point, he's going to put me in a jar or something, I guess.
Like 1 day at a time.
Yeah. In terms of shocks of the week, I mean, there's quite a few because we all predicted the same thing.
Not really.
Some of us did.
I mean, the first few rows of this table that we're showing for the game week 11 predictions are very similar to each other. But I suppose the big one is no one had Ipswich beating Tottenham, and nobody had. Mick had Brighton beating City. He got all 3 points for that.
Fair play on that one.
He did.
Yeah,
Really good prediction.
And no one had Brentford beating Brighton. Bournemouth. So that is
I'm not
that is one.
surprised
But
that because of the way
Brentford games go either way, don't they? Yeah, Brentford games can go either way.
Yeah, true. You never know what you're going to get.
But yeah, I mean, Tottenham Ipswich. That's twice in a row now that Tottenham have played a team that hasn't won yet this season, and twice they've been quite obliging in giving them that win.
The Robin Hood.
You always say Tottenham are very accommodating.
They are.
Of other teams.
The hospitality facilities at the new stadium are always talked about. So, yeah.
What's that Ipswich player called? Smodic or something.
Smodic,
That was a canny little goal, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it?
Player,
I don't know that it's sort of an amazing overhead kick like I've seen.
It wasn't amazing. It wasn't like a Rooney.
Any overhead kick is great. Let's not put it down.
I mean, he just he fell on his arse and put his boot in the air.
Yeah, but that's like a five-a-side overhead kick. That's like the ones you try at five-a-sides, and
but
like once in 20 shots, do you put it in target? At least he actually put it in target and
your little boy scored one of them at football training the other week. Just exactly like that. Where he just threw himself on the ground, threw his foot over his head, and scored.
So he's going to be playing for Newcastle in the future, and
why not?
I thought Dragutin had quite a bad game for them. He just didn't look convincing at all, and obviously he's having to fill in for Van de Ven at the minute.
He got pulled apart in Europe as well midweek.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but that was against Victor Osimhen, not Rory Delap's son.
Put some respect on his name. He's been all right.
Liam Delap's
all right.
I think proven that he's probably a Premier League level player at the moment.
Yeah. He's a better player than his dad was.
He'll stay up.
Yes.
To be fair.
Yeah.
So.
He won't be remembered like his dad, though.
No.
Who knows? Depends how.
But yeah, I mean, any other sort of thoughts we have on Spurs Ipswich game?
Lol Spurs. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of. You felt like Spurs were kind of coming, like they'd had that bad spell. They started to recover a wee bit, but it's just they are so inconsistent. It's how they can go from really like motivated, trying, high pressing one week, and then the next week they just look timid as hell and soft, And I don't think the manager knows why that happens either. It's Spursy.
They probably rely a lot on Van der Ven as well. I think
it is interesting because they've got a not dissimilar record to Man United this season, and yet Ange isn't sort of. There's no one baying for his blood in this quite the same way that they were for Ten Hag.
I mean, you've got to look at the whole period, though. Spurs are not expected to win anything because they haven't won anything for years. That's not the case at Manchester United ever. Secondly, it's only Ange's second season, and in his first season, he got them into Europe. Which they hadn't been in before, and I think the fans were fairly happy with what he was doing as well. Although I think most of that was down to having a really good start. It was one of those classic Spurs are going to win the title. We're great, had a great first 11 games and then fell apart. So
I think we're all expecting them to fall apart without Kane as well, but you haven't really done that. They're still scoring lots of goals.
Did you really say Spurs have never been in Europe before and Postecoglou?
Yeah, I don't really sort of agree with that at all, to be honest.
They're regular Champions League finalists.
I said that. I said that the year before they had not qualified for Europe, and then Ang came in and he got them into Europe. The actual season before that, remember Conte?
Yeah, but I mean that's just how it works nowadays. Is that there's so many teams that can get into Europe. There's going to be one team missing out, and they're going to end up in there the following year. That's just how it works. I think it's not like
they are.
It's not like they've been out of. It's not like they've been out of Europe for 5 years or so. Or I think one season out's acceptable for pretty much any club, especially Spurs.
I'm not trying to sing Ang's praises. I just think it's a different situation from Ten Hag, who would get 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was that belief that nothing was going to change. I think you just got to that point with Ten Hag where it was nothing was going to change.
Well, I mean, I think with Spurs, we know what we're going to
have a chance.
We know what we're going to get out of Spurs. They're not particularly evolving. They're still doing the same things they were doing 18 months ago. Just they've slowly been getting worse at it. I think, or teams have been getting better at playing against them.
Maybe.
They're one-dimensional as well, Spurs at the moment.
Yeah,
they're predictable. So I wouldn't say they're easy to set up against because they're always a threat, but if you plan accordingly, I think they're easy to get at.
I think Ang's one of those managers that this is the way we're going to play, and I'm going to play that way all the time, and that's my philosophy. And a lot of clubs really want a manager like that until everybody finds out their philosophy and starts to work it, and smart managers start to beat them, and then they don't want it anymore. They want somebody that will adapt. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've defended on him on that quite a while, but you still need to sort of be able to problem solve, and there's clear shortcomings in what Spurs do that he just hasn't addressed at all. And I think you can still play positively while not being so leaky at the back and not being so soft on corners.
You've always got to have that plan B.
We'll see. I mean, there's a few managers that's jobs are on a shaky nail, I think, at the moment. I'm not sure he'll be top of the list, but his name will be on the list, that's for sure.
Nah, he's got to win a trophy soon, otherwise he'll be gone.
Well, he says he always wins a trophy in the second season, but he's already out of one, isn't he?
No, I mean, unless you count the league, then yes, but. But he's
No,
not
they've
at the League
got-
Cup, no.
They've got United in the League Cup quarterfinals, which
Oh,
he should be
He actually
targeting
played
that
a strong
because
team in the League Cup this year, whereas last year,
well, he
in
had
both
to. He was playing against
cup
City.
competitions, he played nobody and just get put out very early on. So the Spurs fans were very unhappy with their cup performances last year. So I think he knows he can't do that.
Yeah.
But who
I think
knows?
there's definitely a route to the League Cup final for them this season because Arsenal and Liverpool are still in it, but they're not going to be focusing on that. They're going to be focusing on the league more, and they'll be focusing on the Champions League more. So if they get past us, they should be looking to win the whole thing. I think.
I don't
'cause
think
we'll
Arsenal have
beat them
won
in
that
the
cup in
final
over
and then we're
30
going to
years.
smash them.
Yeah, I was going to say until they come up against us in the semi-final.
So do we want to?
No,
Yeah.
maybe not.
So, do we want to move on to moment of the week? And I think Dave should talk about this one because he nominated it.
What was the moment of the week?
It was Mikel Arteta. But
Oh, he's doing his best
He's fallen
Van
the
Gaal
floor.
impression. Yeah, he just fell on the floor when he fought.
I think he's got a ways to go before he reaches Van Gaal's levels.
He does,
on
yeah,
that
but he's
regard,
getting there. He's getting there on the drama side. But yeah, I think it was the final play of the game against Chelsea. The ball was put into the box. Trossard got his toe on it, which put it past Havertz. He would have got on the end of it and put it in the goal. But yeah, Arteta went down and was being dramatic about it. But I think it was going to be offside anyway, even if Havertz, Trossard didn't get to it.
I missed that.
Which would have made it even more hilarious because that would have been the second goal, but Havertz got disallowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
especially after the first one where he scored it and he was shushing the crowd, and I got disallowed.
Yeah, I think there's some Chelsea fans who are, quite a lot of them are against him. I loved him purely because of the Champions League. I don't hate him, but I think that's just sent a lot of Chelsea fans over the edge now. That shush.
I think as well. Yes, fine. He had the moment in the Champions League, but I think he's been consistently a better player for Arsenal than he was for Chelsea.
Yeah, but
I think he has as well.
The thing is, he's going to burn the bridges with Chelsea fans. And if, let's say, Arsenal do go for Sesko in the summer and Havertz gets put on the sidelines, then he's got no club to look back to fondly. He's just... He's not going to have any legacy, is he?
He could always go back to Leverkusen.
By Leverkusen. He could do, yeah. But, I mean, yeah, I don't hate him. I like him, but I don't like it when players burn bridges with old clubs.
I don't know. I think if you're getting stick off fans, you're entitled to give it back.
Yeah, I think he's had the support.
Was he getting
of us
stick
a lot
though?
of times.
Because I don't know. Because I don't think he deserves stick in general. Because it's not as if he asked for the move. That he get punted out, to whoever would pay the money
Well,
for him.
He was happy to go. He got a lot more money, and then he was giving it back to Chelsea as soon as he moved to Arsenal. So yeah, kind of lost the love.
Well, it's
there.
because Chelsea just didn't know how to use him. They bought him. They didn't know what sort of player he was. And
yeah, well, exactly. But I don't think Arsenal are utilising him correctly either. He's doing all right for them, but he's not class. There's far better players in that position. Yeah, it's a shame because he's extremely talented and he's got everything there to be a world-class footballer, but there's just something not quite happening for him.
I think he's maybe because he's got such a good footballing brain and reads the game so well. Maybe he just gets shunted everywhere just because it's like I can stick him there and he's going to know basically what to do, even if he's not going to be world class at it.
I always remember that goal against Newcastle, where he kind of brought the ball down and shot all in one motion and it went over the keeper, didn't it? And then
people always scored great goals against Newcastle. You watch all the greatest goals ever scored compilations.
It's just against Newcastle and Chelsea.
It's on the radio, man.
I just sick of seeing that Cisse goal.
You got Bergkamp, you got Rooney,
Letizia.
Yeah.
Right.
Letizia, maybe three. Letizia actually used to do it against us every year.
Tom Cleverley.
Letizia used to score.
As well against us.
One of the greats.
Letizia used to score the screamers against Man U.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loved playing against Man U.
So on Matt Letizia, just to completely take this on a tangent. So Havant and Waterlooville are hosting a charity match on Sunday of non-league legends versus Manchester United legends, which is a bit odd. But Matt Letizia is playing for the non-league legends. The Man United ones are like
Is he
proper
a non-league legend?
He played for Eastleigh after he left Southampton, apparently, for a couple of years. And Eastleigh is just outside of Southampton, so it was just he wanted to, But the Man United legends are like
not loved by Southampton anymore, is he?
No, I don't think he's loved by anyone at the minute. He's a right weirdo. But yeah, the Man United legends are people who were in the academy in the 90s, but they weren't the class of 92. They were sort of in the academy in the mid 90s and never got anywhere near the first team. But because they're ex-United Academy people, they're Man United legends. So I'm still debating whether I'm going to bother going or not. But there's no one there that's really thinking like that's making me think, oh yeah, I need to go see that. Like if they wheeled Wes Brown out of retirement, I might go down and see it. But it's like Luke Chadwick and Danny Pugh and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have paid money to go and see them. The game won each. What was your thoughts on it, Dave?
I mean, it's nice to
Was that a fair
not
result?
let them win. Yeah, I think it was a fair result. Both teams were pretty much equal. I don't think either team was showing top 4 quality, but I don't know. I didn't really get to see much of it. I can't really comment. There was only a few performances which I noticed, which was Coote, who's just been one of our best players consistently for a while now. Caicedo, Neto.
Very good this year.
Yeah.
And you get man of the match, I think, Coote as well.
Yeah, well, if you keep Saka quiet, you're class, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's what we were saying last week, wasn't it?
I think he should have probably been on our team of the week.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I don't really know. We're just struggling against the top teams.
It doesn't get in team of the week just for keeping Saka quiet. Lewis Hall didn't, so he doesn't.
Well, I mean, fair point. I'm not sure. I haven't seen our team of the week yet, so I don't know if our left back got 2 assists against Manchester City. We'll see. But yeah, Chelsea-wise, we've not really beaten any of the big teams yet, which is concerning. But then we haven't been overrun or dominated, apart from maybe the City game. They didn't really dominate us. I think that was just a lackluster display from both teams. But they just scored. But it's early days. I keep on saying the same thing every week. It's early days. Sanchez being beaten at his near post, another shocker. Defense is still a bit iffy. Colwill, Fofana, I'm not so sure about yet.
Yeah, Colwill's really not having a good few weeks, is he? And he keeps giving away a silly foul, and he keeps being absolutely flabbergasted that the ref's blown him up when it's the clearest foul you'll ever see.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not
that.
sure where he's coming with that one.
The thing is, we're really struggling with defenders. Like, I could not trust anyone else. Like Badiashile, Disasi, Tosin's the only one I could probably trust, but Fofana's there, so I don't know. We'll probably discuss it next week, but Chelsea have got to look into their defence and goalkeepers.
You said about you're not really fond of Fofana, but Maresca says he absolutely loves him.
He's aggressive. I like that, but I think there needs to be one experienced player in that back too. I don't know. It's just going to take time with that partnership, but we're not going to threaten anybody with it. It's always going to be our weakness. Yeah, exactly. But again, all the rumoured players that we're after are all young as well, so I don't know. But yeah, I can't really comment on the Arsenal side. Well, they've got Odegaard back, and it's clear how different they play with him in.
Well, they played better than they did against us last week.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal played a lot better than that, or else you would have took them apart. Because I thought, it was quite an even game, I felt. But, maybe they edged the chances slightly in terms of when they came and stuff like that. But, there wasn't that much in it. I think a draw was definitely.
I think if we're if we're going to give Arsenal credit, hi Rich, it's sort of worth pointing out that it was a big game where they've actually sort of had a go the whole time, rather than shut up shop. I think the first half in particular, both sides were going at it quite a bit, and obviously they were still
quite quick after each other.
Yeah.
Though. So was that a factor because they still had to chase it? I don't know.
But it didn't look like, and it might just be because of how far they've fallen back, but it didn't look like they were satisfied with the point this time, whereas they definitely were against Liverpool and City. So, yeah. Is that enough credit, Rich? Let us know.
They had 11 players on the pitch for a change, so yeah.
Does help. Yeah, for sure. Oh well. So on to your team of the week then. So we'll talk about a few of the games as we go through this as well. So do you want to, who's talking us through? Am I talking us through this, or are you talking us through this?
I don't mind. I've got it in front of me if you need me to. But...
Well, I guess we've both got it. We can do it a little bit. Pickford, I think was your nomination, though, wasn't he?
It was my nomination. Yeah. He was excellent. He pulled off some great saves. A lot of saves, I think. I just thought it was one of the few matches I caught. So I thought, well, no, surely nobody was better than him.
Yeah, I mean,
there wasn't a lot of outstanding goalkeeping stuff.
I thought Kevin Kelleher from Liverpool had quite a good game, but I'm glad that Dave went for Pickford, so I didn't have to say that name on the podcast.
He's so good, though, isn't he, Kelleher?
Yeah. He is. He had a really
backup keeper as well.
At 1-0. At 1-0, he pulled off some quite good saves from Villa, but yeah, Pickford had some good saves against West Ham as well. We'll move on to right back because this is. I mean, it's sort of my pick. I put him in there, but I did open it up to the floor if anyone had any better shouts. But we've put Mazraoui at right back from Man United. Bit of an odd one. He started on the left. And he actually set up the second United goal. He put a cross in, which Bruno sort of got on the end of, and it ended up being bundled in by a Leicester defender. Then moved on to the right after Dalot got subbed off, and basically kept Fatawu from Leicester quiet, who was giving Dalot an absolute awful time. And I would go as far as to say it's a low bar, but I think he's been our best player this season. He's really he's not just sort of been another body in to replace Wan-Bissaka. He's a clear improvement on Wan-Bissaka in basically every aspect of the game. And I think when we've got left backs fit, he's going to keep Dalot out the side at right back. So really happy with him.
I did say earlier in the season that I was impressed with him. He looked like a good player for you.
He is.
He's been
good.
Consistent as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Moving on, we've got Ibrahim Konate from Liverpool. Mick, you wanted him in?
Yeah, he's been outstanding all season for me. He had a really good game again.
He has been.
They've still only conceded 6 goals, haven't they?
Yeah, they are really good defensively this season.
He's been outstanding.
It's not just him, I guess, because there's
Van Dijk,
obviously
Robertson,
Van Dijk as well. But I think he's been slightly better.
I think he's been the better centre back of the two, him and Van Dijk.
Really?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I know. Yeah.
And then next room we got Joaquin Anderson. Is it Joaquin or Joaquim? I don't know. About Anderson from Fulham.
Don't know.
Joachim Anderson.
Joachim. He had a goal line clearance against Palace, and sort of towards the end of the game, as Palace were chasing it, he put in a really crunching tackle on Mateta, which was like nowhere near a foul, but just stopped their attacking dead. He's been solid for them since he's gone back there, and he put in.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's been their most consistent defender. And I think Palace were actually mental. I think that was all part of the Gahey thing, to be honest, why they sold him. And it just looks like a stupid decision. They were higher than Fulham last year. Now Fulham look a lot better team than Palace. And, part of that's they've got a better defence. So there you go.
And then at left back, finally, and just in time before Ruben Amorim turns Anthony into the best wing back in the world, we've got Lewis Hall.
Yeah, I mean, Hall had a great game again. I mean, I wouldn't have argued with Cucurella had sneaked in, but maybe it was time for Hall to finally get since he's been on the edge of getting into this team of the week every single week, I think, of the season. Maybe bar the first game of the season when he had a bit of a shocker. He's just really consistent, and I think most Newcastle fans will say he's been a consistent best performer probably all season. I know Liverpool's playing the two of them are starting to play really well in each side, but I think Hall has been just that little bit more consistent, and he's just becoming a better player all the time. He's so comfortable on the ball because he's a midfielder by trade. So he's so comfortable picking it up and going between people and passing it, that he's a really dangerous player.
It just seems to be getting better every single week. Mm-hmm. He's only 18, 19, and he's so mature for his age.
Has he been called up for England?
He has.
Been called up for England, which is good because England need a left back as well. So hopefully he can kick on a bit.
Yeah, it's just good experience for him at that age as well. It gives him that, from our point of view as fans, you want to see these players grow and become really good, and it gives them that, well, look at the way I'm playing and I'm getting into the England team, so you hope that gives them that push and the motivation on, so.
I'm not sure how much
I remember when Newcastle fans were saying it was a terrible signing, that one as well.
Yeah.
Chelsea fans weren't. We were gutted about it.
No, I know, but Newcastle fans, because he didn't play it first, were like, it was a waste of money,
Yeah, but the thing is that
you weren't playing him, so you wouldn't have to buy him.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They were saying that about Gordon when he first signed as well. When we got him in the January, barely played that season.
Yeah.
And then
it just takes
it's just the way Eddie Howe likes to bring these players in, likes to just gradually, slowly introduce them to get his way of playing into them.
It's the right way to do it.
I think as well, if you bring in a new player and they're not immediately brilliant, it's sort of, I don't know. If you leave him for 6 months and people sort of forget that you've signed him, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, bloody hell, where's he come from? And it sort of freshens things up a bit. As much as trying to get used to the system, it's sort of the expectation management as well, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on the level of player you're, but especially when you're buying young players, they're not going to come in and say, right, that's my place, out of the way, lads. Maybe if you go and buy a superstar, they come in with that expectation, I want to play. I'll warm up while I'm in the team. I want to play. But, for a younger player, they're probably, happy to get the training and get the coaching, and make it into the team when the manager trusts them. So, he's a good lad.
Moving into the midfield, so we've got Manuel Ugarte from Man United, who has had a slow start to his United career, but since Van Nistelrooy sort of took over an interim charge, he's been pairing him with Casemiro, and it's done the world of good for both of them. But Ugarte was just sort of getting in the way of everything against Leicester on the weekend, I thought, breaking up play really well, and just looks like the player we signed. And we've got Joe Linton next to him, who we've put in midfield, but he played everywhere against Forest, didn't he, on Sunday?
Yeah, I think he played in 3 or 4 different positions. And maybe he had his best spell at right wing, weirdly, but he certainly started in the middle of the park. And he's just, when he has games like that, he is honestly one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. You can really, the consistency from him now is, he doesn't do it every single week. We've all seen him have bad weeks, but, very rarely does he ever give you below a 7 out of 10, and when he's in an 8 or a 9 out of 10, sometimes he's unplayable. So, yeah.
I think there's only one position he's never played for us yet, and that's in goal. Played everywhere else since we signed him.
But we don't like him as striker, which we bought him for. Well, that was some finish.
I tell you what, if he finishes like that, he can go up front.
Who knows? That's what people are talking about. Joe Linton 3.0. There's our new right winger. Let's see him do that. But I think Cunha as well was absolutely class for Wolves.
He set up the first one. He absolutely beauty for the second one, and he's just way too good for Wolves, isn't he?
Yeah,
I know. For long, is he?
Before he went to Wolves, when he was still at Atletico Madrid, we were linked with him at the time as well, and it just was one of those that we never really sort of went for. I could see us making a move for him in the near
Yeah,
future.
I think sometimes they need to go to another club like that first to go to that next level. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it does mean you're going to pay slightly more to get them in the end. But they're ready made. You've just given them 2 years playing in the Premier League.
But he is
and playing well.
He is quality. He's a step above anyone else that Wolves have, definitely. And then moving on to up front, we've got Johan Wissa again. I think he's in our team every week just because Brentford score a shitload of goals and he's normally the one doing it.
Yeah. It's either him or Mbeumo.
Yeah. So another good performance from him. We've got João Pedro up front from Brighton, who only came on for about half an hour, but straight away he had a shot that got saved. Then he scored the equaliser, and then he set up Matt O'Reilly for the winner. And he probably could have had a couple more apart from that. It was sort of an all-action cameo from him when Welbeck and Rutter weren't really doing much before that. So.
I do still wish we had got him. I know we couldn't get him and Isaac, and if I had to choose between the two, I'll take Isaac, but he's a great player, and I wish he was playing.
Yeah, he is quality. Sure. And then lastly on the right, we've got Mo Salah, who just tormented Villa on Saturday, I thought. He set up the first goal, he scored the second goal. The amount of times he just broke down the right with ease. I think so. I said on Saturday he looks better and he's playing better now than he has done for years, I reckon. And then I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they basically said the numbers match that as well.
How dare you listen to
I just got I need to know what the competition's doing.
Yeah, he's so underappreciated.
But yeah, like his numbers in terms of athletically, he's better than he was 5 years ago, which considering he's broken into his 30s now is quite impressive.
Well, he's chasing that contract you got to run for those contracts.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. I mean, he doesn't though, does he? Because he could just have a chill 6 months and go get the mega bucks out in Saudi, couldn't he?
I mean, probably, but I genuinely don't think he wants to. I think he still wants to play at that high level, and he wants to deal with Newcastle. I wish. But I think Liverpool are reluctant to give him too long a deal because they think, well, you do that and then he just takes that dive. We'll call it the Kyle Walker dive.
Yeah.
Where your performance just drops off a cliff at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I did see. Yeah, I know, but they never show any signs until they do, and then when they do, it's dramatic. I have seen a lot of chat about Liverpool should just slap a 5-year contract on the table and let him put whatever number he wants on there. But 18 months into that, he's gonna do his ACL or something, or just have one hamstring go too many or something like that. But and then you're going to let him go to Saudi for free or something
and just write off his contract or something like that. It would end up like that. So I can understand why Liverpool are kind of. It's not just have at it.
He was involved in quite an interesting incident against Villa. If we want to talk about that game in a bit more detail, so Villa have a corner, Liverpool win it, they break. Salah's bearing down on goal, and they're about 40 meters out, and the Villa player trips him up. And you'd think ordinarily, right, that's a free kick, that's a red card, it's denial of a goal scoring opportunity. But Darwin Núñez is right there to pick it up, and he takes it around the keeper and scores the first goal. And it's an interesting one to see what would happen if Núñez hadn't scored, if it had gone wide or it got saved or whatever. But I got into a discussion with someone the other day, and I want to know your guys' thoughts on it. If that's your team, would you prefer that Núñez goes on and scores the goal, or would you prefer the free kick and the red card?
Ball.
I think
there is 10 men, because then they just shut up.
I'm going to say goal because sometimes against 10 men can be a pain in the ass.
I think I remember Gareth Bale doing this with Chelsea. Was it the FA Cup several years ago where he got fouled as a last man, so it would have gone off, but he got back up and scored the goal. And I think they ended up losing. I think that was the equaliser, but I think they ended up losing 5-2. But I think if they had the man sent off, I think Spurs would have gone on and win that. So
but Spurs Would
The
they?
thing is,
Yeah.
like,
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
the
free
you add the
kick.
Spurs factor in there, and maybe that's the.
yeah.
the free
I
kick
mean,
was like
it was
Sorry.
it was Noah, was it? Yeah.
the free kick's like miles away, so that it's not really. They're not really going to score from that. Do you know what I mean? You take the goal, and I understand you saying that you would have been interested to see if Nunez hadn't have scored, that it would have just been a goal kick, because they had that opportunity.
Yeah,
still.
they had the advantage, I
yeah,
suppose.
it's
Yeah.
been played
The
by
referee,
them, yeah.
the referee got it spot on the way he done it. He gave the advantage because Nunez got there. He scored. Now, if the keeper got there before Nunez, then you're talking about it's a free kick and a red card because there's
Yeah.
no advantage then.
Yeah.
So
But,
I think
yeah,
the
I
referee
mean-
actually done really well there to let it go.
Yeah, I mean, I came down on the side of I prefer to have a guaranteed goal in the bank rather than 70 minutes to chase one against 10 men.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The guy I was
100%.
talking to
Okay.
just came out with like the stats of it's easy to turn over a 1-0 lead, but if you're down to 10 men, you're almost certainly going to lose. And it's just like I'd still rather the actual thing happening rather than a high probability of something happening. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one, and basically that attack, Liverpool were doing that all game against Villa. It wasn't good. Villa had a couple of chances sort of later in the first half, but other than that, they weren't really that good, were they?
Not really, no. But Liverpool just seem a different animal.
Yeah.
Honestly, they've been really good. I've been really impressed with them this season.
They've got
And to be honest, I think they're going to go on to win the league this season.
Yeah,
for me.
they've got the counter-attacking ability they always had under Klopp, but they can just sort of calm it down when they need to as well, which is really useful.
They've just got that
I
strength
think
and depth as well.
We'll see what happens if they lose a couple of players or they get a couple of injuries in key positions. We'll see what happens if City get everybody back and they go on one of those runs. They might flat. They might, crumble under the pressure.
They might
at the end of the day, they've been here before, but they've failed more than they've succeeded.
I mean, I think they're playing City in the near future, and it'll be interesting to see whether they sort of go for the juggler or whether they do an Arsenal and try and sort of just preserve a point. Because I think, given how City are at the minute, there's real opportunity to sort of give them a bloody nose.
For Liverpool than it is for City, isn't it? At this point,
yeah, but you think a win at this point could almost be sort of a killing blow, even this early in the season. So it's game after next. So it's the second game after the international break. They play City at home, and I think really. They've got an opportunity to beat them and open up quite a big gap on them.
Go for it the way City have been playing. You've got to put them under pressure at the end of the day and hope that they haven't suddenly woke up and started playing again.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
City don't play until after Christmas, anyways. So.
Yeah, you need a good 15-point head start.
VAR watch this week. Our first one was. Trying to remember which one it was.
Southampton, was it?
Southampton. Southampton Wolves.
Oh, Southampton Wolves.
The disallowed goal.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Obviously, so the Southampton. This one's a hard one, I think, to describe because I just don't see why it was a foul and why the goal was chopped off. For me, it was either a penalty or it was a goal, and that's what the manager said after the game, and instead they gave a foul to the other team, and I just really fail to understand.
The thing that gets me is the referee at the time gave the goal, and then VAR got involved. Now, I understand this referee's only a young lad, and he's just really started out in the Premier League, and who was on VAR as a senior official for the Premier League. I don't understand why he's got involved in that. It's
I mean, it is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I mean, the incident is it's a loose ball, and the Southampton player and the Wolves player are neck and neck going for it. Nobody has the ball at that point, and they get to it, and actually, rather than try and get the ball, what the Wolves defender does is he just sticks his leg in the way of the Southampton player, gets a kick, goes down. And it's a bit like the Anthony Gordon one last season where I was having a big old rant about it. He's not trying to get the ball at all. He's just trying to get in the way of the player, and that's not a foul. It's like you say, if anything, it's a foul on the Southampton player because he stuck his leg in the way.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
no,
you have to
it's-
think about the attacker in that.
It's not a
for
foul
me, you
either
know.
way.
The
It's
attacker's
just
always trying to
nothing.
get the ball.
yeah, they
It's-
both. It's a coming together. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a foul either way. It's not a foul to Southampton. It's not a foul to Wolves. It's just like you said, a coming together. It's play on.
yeah. And then to sort of compound that, for Wolves' second goal, as good a hit as it was from Cunha, in the build-up, you had sort of Southampton sort of pumped it long, and Dawson won a header on halfway where he wrestled Archer down to the ground, and then it sort of went back
I
a
don't
bit
know if
further.
you can even call that. Yeah, basically grabbed him by the shot and just went, "You will go to the ground now."
Yeah.
And then while he was lying on the ground, he walked in front of him and took the ball. And how the referee, and then again, how does VAR not go back and look at that? And go,
But there were
that's
two fouls in that build-up, and they were both a lot clearer than this Southampton one. So I can see why Russell Martin's a bit pissed off by that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Wolves just getting that lock after having none of it for 2 years straight off VAR. Maybe it's just their turn.
I think they'll be voting VAR in.
And then
The second one, or the second set of VAR we had was Newcastle related, and it was it's a very simple one, nothing too dramatic in the game, other than really this. But Mickey, I think you watched the game. I think it was on the telly, so a few years might have watched some of this game, but how Yates didn't get sent off in that game is just
Twice.
unreal. He could have been sent off 4 different times, I think. Twice direct reds, and then one of the times he actually did get a yellow, he then immediately kicked the ball away in frustration, which, as we know, this year has been a second yellow and a red card. But nothing at all. I mean, he ends up the game with just 1 yellow. It was ridiculous, actually. The guy was he was a pure thug. He was hitting into people. It was bad tackling, and the referee was just going, play on, the whole game. Man.
Ridiculous. I remember watching it and I put it in the chat that he should have been sent off, and you said I didn't really say it properly. I don't think he was
the first
looking at him.
one with the elbow.
Yeah.
The elbow,
And I
I
said,
never really, it never looked that bad to me, but when you see the replay,
he's coming towards the ball and he blatantly looks at him at Liverpool.
But then he
throws the elbow in.
Even ignoring that, the one on Longstaff is just awful. You know, if we're saying Martinez needed to be sent off last week, this is a lot worse than that one.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. Yeah.
Look at Bruno Fernandes's red card against Tottenham on Madison. It's 10 times worse than that.
Yeah.
How doesn't VAR?
I mean, you saw his face after it. If you look at Yates' face after he does that tackle on Longstaff, it's like this. You know what I mean? What did I do? It's like the realization comes on his face that he is in big trouble here. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's even a yellow card for that one.
We've got to say, this is another team that made a point of complaining about referees last season as well. So maybe it is working, which is not what we want to see. But
I was gobsmacked. I couldn't believe it.
But the good thing was we played well. I think we've turned the corner a little bit in the last few weeks, Mick. Since your rant, really, when you weren't here and you left that rant about them not performing. I think that's
I'll get another one.
Kick up the ass because they all watch the show. I've spoke to them all. Me and
I'll get
Anthony
another one set up for the next time we're going to play.
And he's been telling me the boys all watch this every week. So
it was. I mean,
well done,
Forest have been quite good this season, and they've been quite good defensively. But you guys looked by far the better side on Sunday, and I thought the chances you created were really good. That one break where who was it who put the ball out to Willock, who crossed it in for Isaac to volley in, and he just went wide. That would have been an incredible goal if that had gone in.
That would have been a good goal. Isaac should have done better with that. That's probably why Isaac didn't get any team of the week, because I think he should have hit the target with that. To be fair,
I know you sort of. He needed to volley it, but he had time, didn't he? He didn't need to sort of. Yeah.
Everyone at the pub was on the feet shouting,
Yeah.
"Get in!" And we were like, "Oh, what?"
Just put it in the net.
I know, you just thought, and that would have been it at that point, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, it did get finished later on with Barnes scoring the third. And that was a good goal as well. You know,
That
he
was a
started
cracking goal.
that away down the bottom. They passed it between each other all the way up the park. And, excuse me, good counter-attacking goal. Yeah, we played very well against Forest, and I think after the game, the manager just said, "It's team one." You know, it was that's the way Nuno come out with. Nothing to really complain about. You know, he thought his players played well. He didn't think they played badly. He just thought, you know, a better team beating them in the day. I just think tactically,
we got more
some
than
things that
I
weren't
thought
working. Howe's managed to solve them, and he's,
do you know what?
He's solving little problems now.
You kept the player of the month quiet as well. I didn't see a single thing that Chris Wood did all week, all game, and actually manager of the month as well. And it was his first game back on the touchline after his ban, and look what happened.
It's funny you say that. Yeah. I said that to my father-in-law. I said, he's been suspended for the past 3 games. That's why I've been picking up points. He's back on the touchline this week. I will win. He just told us to shut up because he's a Sunderland fan.
Yeah, good from us, but Forest fans, I think, were disappointed. I think they had it into their head a little bit, like where they were in the league this year, that they were going to go on and I think it maybe took them back down to earth a little bit. But you know, unless you're a real top team, consistency's just not going to be there. You're going to lose games, so you know it's how they bounce back in it next week that will tell the tale. So where are we going next?
So I think we're going to go to it's the return after quite a few weeks off now of Shithouse of the Weekend. Boy, is it a good one!
Aye, it is.
My favourite section.
Yeah. So
this is you can go for it, right?
No, yeah. All right. So basically, a video went out on Twitter or X, whatever your preference is there, yesterday of Premier League referee David Coote talking to another gentleman, and it seems like they've been having quite a good time before this video was taken. And basically, he just slags off Liverpool, slags off Jurgen Klopp, thinks James Milner's a good guy, but ends the video with his mate saying we hate Scousers.
We all think the same, but
yeah, absolutely.
Just spitting facts
like that.
Yeah. But not long after that video sort of did the rounds, a statement came out from him saying that the video is not genuine. I don't know whether he was calling it a deep fake or what, but he said categorically it's not genuine. And then about an hour later, he said, "Oh, no, that is definitely me in that video, but I can't remember doing it because it happened ages ago."
I have no recollection.
And
during COVID.
Yeah. Well,
and that was all
he was talking about a game during COVID during the video, but the way he was talking about it, it seemed like he was talking about it like it was a good year or two ago.
Because he had a photo of Milner on it.
Yeah. But I think it's sometime after the fact, and obviously he was talking about social distancing. He's clearly not social distancing in this video.
This is somebody that's caught this guy out. That's what we're hearing. That some Liverpool fan, amateur journal that's decided to become the next, investigative journalist or whatever, and break the cabal of referees and prove once and for all that Liverpool truly are the victims that all their fans think they are. But why hold on to it for so long if it did happen such a long time ago? Would they wait until Liverpool got top of the league so they could extract maximum amount of benefit from the referees out?
But needless to say, he's being investigated by PGMOL. He's been investigated by the FA. He's been suspended by PGMOL as well. And I would be surprised to see him refereeing a game in England again.
Yeah, he won't.
He'll be in Saudi earning 10 times as much.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, right? I would say the same thing. I don't like Liverpool, right? But they're not the only team I don't like. There's a lot of teams in fact, there's very few teams I like. I quite hate everybody. But I think Jurgen Klopp's an absolute cunt as well. And I'll call him a cunt. I don't care. I don't like him. I just don't like the guy. I think he's a bit of a cunt. You know what I mean?
I used to call him a German one.
see if David Coote had been Scottish, he could have argued that he was saying no. I was saying he was a good cunt, or he was an annoying cunt, or something like that, and he could have got away with it. As just
Get away with that if you're Aussie as well.
yeah, or Australian, but no. I mean, being English, no, he's not getting away with that.
I think it's quite possible it's a genuinely held opinion, absolutely. But I don't think it necessarily.
That's what
I don't. But it's just you can't be seen videoing yourself saying that and keep your job.
It's not just that though. This is the second video where he turns around and says, "This video cannot come out."
Yeah.
You for real, mate? Of course it's going to come out.
And it's obviously just been put into a group chat, and everyone's like, "Yeah, just keep this to yourself, lads. Keep this to yourselves." And then one of them's just going, "No, do you know what would be really funny?"
I'm putting it on X.
I don't know. Did they not say that? Is this not somebody that's like stitched them up? You know,
well, that's the claim. That's the claim this morning, isn't it? Because Dave, you were saying, weren't you?
I don't know if he's waited this long because he's got a load of these videos. He's just been collecting them, and I don't know if he's looking for maximum impact or he's looking to blackmail. I don't know.
Is he trying to say
rumor
that every referee's against Liverpool? Because
maybe
would annoy me.
Rumor was Anthony Taylor, but but whether it's just against Liverpool, I don't know.
Does that mean that I need to go and like I don't know, start a campaign against, I don't know, Louise Taylor, so that we can prove that she writes articles in the Guardian against Newcastle because she's really a Sunderland fan and she hates us? Do you know what I mean? Would I need to go and get married to her, have 3 kids, and then go, haha, I've got the real story now? I just think these Liverpool fans that have went out to do this are just sad bastards, to be perfectly honest, because they really do think there's a conspiracy, everybody's against them.
Yeah.
And this is somebody that's so deeply thought that they've decided to go out and prove it beyond a doubt.
The thing is that it's like
not up for it.
Mike Dean, I think he's been interviewed by Sky about this, and he turned around and he said, listen, referees talk like this all the time to friends and colleagues and family. They say what they don't like about people, what they do like, but you can't do it on camera.
No,
not when you're such a high
position. It's impossible to think the amount of work and the amount of time it takes to get to be the level of a Premier League referee, because you have to start from the bottom and go up. There is no way you do that without having an opinion on football.
Especially Klopp, because he was such. Yeah. He was a horror to referees.
Against
he was how he didn't get more cards.
That's what David Coote was basically saying in the video, was that he had a go at him, about something, and that's why he didn't like him. That's what he was basically saying.
He was basically saying
he's perceived to be that he then had a grudge against him going forward after that. And of course, what's happened today at Liverpool fans posting all the incidents that David Coote's ever missed against Liverpool. Some of them you're like that. There's nothing even in that,
I mean, the Guardian literally did a piece today analysing every single decision that David Coote has made in a Liverpool match, and it's just ridiculous. Like,
you could find the same for every other team in the league as well.
Exactly. They're just going looking for things now to say, look, he has got a bias against Liverpool. Don't give him his job back. That's what they're doing.
It feeds them. It feeds the narrative that Liverpool fans have been selling for 30, 50 years that somehow people don't like them and the rest of the country are conspiring against them. There's some Liverpool fans that will tell you genuinely, if it wasn't for the corruption, Liverpool, if there was any justice in the world, would never have lost a game of football ever since 1964. And every time they have lost a game in that time has been some sort of corruption against them. They're lunatics, man. Absolutely lunatics.
I mean, like you say, it's only Liverpool fans who can get that deep in the conspiracy that they go and do a sting operation on referees. Arsenal fans are showing that sort of form, a bit like their club, but a bit like their club, they just haven't got the bottle to see it through when it counts.
I think it's a
they have a board, but they don't actually track somebody down and and fill them full of drugs and record them on video camera and stuff like that.
It's a North London thing. Bottle jobs.
Yeah.
I guess that's us for this week then. That's a note to finish on. It'll be interesting to see how this one pans out, but I don't think we'll be talking about David Coote anymore, other than the fact that he's gone and will never be spoken of again. Next week, there's no Premier League games. It's unfortunately, because we're disappointed always as well, it's an international week again. We will be recording next week. We'll be talking about some other stuff. We'll be talking about where teams are, who's doing well, who's, expectations versus reality kind of deal, and then looking forward a little bit maybe towards the transfer window as well. So if you want to come back next week and hear us talking about that, please feel free. Other than that, in 2 weeks, we'll be back with our kind of normal programming, if you like, show resume in 2 weeks' time once the Premier League's back again.
And
once again, just remember to check out Genreverse and lrmonline.com as well.
And in the meantime, Dave and I are looking at producing a few more shorts for in between podcasts, especially when we got sort of slower weeks like this one.
Check that out. And the Genreverse YouTube channel, Ryan's got a short up there, and maybe a few other ones coming as well. And our full back catalogue's on there as well if you want to go and just.
And if you don't want to see what faces,
weeks,
go to Spotify.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. To be honest.
Whenever you get your podcasts, we are available. Our dulcet tones are available on there as well.
That is how I caught up with last week's podcast that I missed actually on Spotify while I was walking to work the other day.
It saves you having to look at any of our faces.
It really does, yeah.
Always a good thing.
It says it enough.
Especially when you've got us 3 or 4. Anyway, that'll do us this week, boys. So we will see you all next week. If you come back, please do. Other than that, bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Cheers.